So yeah, this is the second part of my little Kilian videos. So this won't be every week, obviously, but given the kind of the situation in the world at the moment and the storms and this wintry weather, a kind of fresh, cool, relaxing, calm kind of spring fragrance is needed. As you can see from the title, this one is Love and Tears, and I believe this is now discontinued, but nevertheless a beautiful. So the opening of this is, it doesn't change a right lot throughout the fragrance, but the opening is probably quite different to the rest. It opens, there must be a little splash of citrus, but just to give a bit of brightness there, and then you kind of get straight away the jasmine, and also a pretty green feel, which will be from the narcissus, like a little sharpness there, not too much, and then I like a greener underfeel about it. Now there's oak moss in the base, so there's probably a bit of that, but also the galbanum or however you want to say it, and this gives this kind of very natural, like a spring morning, like you're walking across a jasmine meadow, as I imagine, and the kind of yeah, the greener kind of feel, the beginning of the day where there's not quite as much kind of sweetness about the florals in the day, and it is very kind of refreshing, very calm. You know that feeling when you're walking outside on a early morning. It's a bit chilly. There's all that kind of dewy moisture in the air, but it's not wet. But it's like that dewy, fresh moisture. The grass and the greenery is quite dewy, like I say, from the morning kind of precipitation as it is. And yeah, that's basically the opening. So as it starts to move into the mids, it starts to warm up, you know, like the sun is coming up and it's warming up the day, and you get a lot more kind of sweetness coming through. It doesn't become too sweet, but there's definitely that kind of, the jasmine definitely gets more of a, you know, that little sweet touch. I believe there's orange blossom and styrax, which you don't necessarily smell, but you do get a warmth from it underneath it all. Again, like the rays of light on your neck and on your skin, that kind of beautiful warmth. The narcissus stays there with a little bit of sharpness, and there's a lily in it which starts to give it all a bit more depth and texture. And I believe there's water jasmine. Now maybe that was also a bit earlier, and I think that gives it its dewiness. Don't know what water jasmine is, but I'm presuming it gives it that kind of fresh kind of moisture. And like I say, with the warmth, the sweetness rises from the jasmine as well. It just becomes more of a beautiful warm spring day. You're still walking through them same meadows. It's so beautifully natural smelling. Like, I've never been in a jasmine field, but I imagine this is exactly what it smells like. That warm, sweet, green, fresh, beautiful jasmine flowers on the air. So yeah. So yeah, as you go, I mean, you know, you don't time things and there's no great transition. But probably after about 3-4 hours, it doesn't start to fade away, but a lot of the kind of effervescence, the freshness, the sparkle, the brightness does start to kind of fade out of it, and the green kind of moves away, and you do get the more of the kind of mossy kind of soapy greenness under it, probably mixing with the lily. But the jasmine stays there, and it stays sweet, and it stays kind of just there. Again, it's very natural smelling, but you know, all that sparkle has kind of calmed down, and now it's just like you're just chilling in this meadow. You're lying there just watching the world go by. Really, it's really quite beautiful, but not massively changing. But it doesn't need to change. It's not a very complex fragrance. and that is definitely the beauty of this one for me. So yeah, that's kind of the fragrance. So yeah, that's Love and Tears Surrender from Kilian. It's you could probably get a conclusion really from it, listening to it. It is just this beautiful, magnificent, very natural smelling, to me predominantly jasmine fragrance, and it is that spring day. It's got that freshness, it's got that vibrance, it's got a beautiful amount of sweetness in there. It's very calm and it's very serene. I think this is one of their massively underrated fragrances and discontinued, maybe because people just don't overly love simplistic, beautiful fragrances. They like them to be wildly exciting and that, I guess. But this is one of them very calming ones. It's one I've wore quite a lot. I'd say it's in my top 5 of Kilian fragrances. I just think it's just simplicity and beautiful. And what's wrong with that, really? There are a lot of fragrances that are kind of similar, but I don't think they smell as natural or as realistic as this. It's just one of Kilian's best, and it's one of them fragrances that made me fall absolutely in love with the brand. So about you, what's your kind of favourite chilling, serene, natural fragrance? What's your best kind of more natural, narcotic Kilian fragrance? Do you just like a beautiful, simple fragrance to just chill about the house in, really? Or go out somewhere and want to be reminded of spring? Anyway, thanks folks.